Dear Cameroonians, dear builders of our nation, dear ladies, today is a special day dedicated to the cause of women, a day not only to plead the cause of women's rights, but also as a moment to recall the journey of a woman and its culmination in making woman a major tool in the construction of the Cameroon nation. This strong and special woman, this devoted and enterprising wife, this mother committed to the cause of education and success of her offspring, this daughter-in-law committed to the unification of two families, this friend who brings comfort and courage, this daughter of the nation who lives only to be a model of life for all. Yes, this is the reason why I am addressing you today. This is why I am making this speech today. Not because I'm a woman, as this is Women's Day, but as the future head of state of Cameroon, who must ensure that all the major components of her population are educated. The case of women is a specific case, a particular case that is close to my heart because I know and I recognize that these women have many capacities and skills to bring life a certain harmonization of tasks and activities that a country can experience. We have known several countries that have had women at the helm and several social actions that they have undertaken for themselves and their families, and we have seen the outstanding result that have followed. So it is out of the question that in 2025, in the 21st century, when the whole world, through its many countries, is reaching out to this population, especially women, that Cameroon should be deprived of a force, whatever it may be, to make a difference, to bring about the long-awaited change. I would therefore like to address you, dear women, dear wife, dear mothers, dear young girls, dear young mothers, single mothers, widows, people living with a disability or condemned to live under the weight of some psychological and psychosomatic illness, people troubled and oppressed by the socio-economic and cultural condition in Cameroon, in which Cameroon finds itself at the moment. It is to you that I would like to address this solemn day, 8th of March 2025, a day which for me marks the beginning of a new era whose theme this year is for all women and girls, rights, quality, and empowerment. There are a number of themes, but with no real content, no assessment to evaluate progress, and no expected result. It's just an exhibitionist day that, like every year, is costing us an arm and a leg in terms of extravagant expenditure with no impact. And since nature harbors a vacuum, this historic World Day in Cameroon has given way to a flood of distraction and uselessness while the mobilization is there. Let's take a cold look at the situation today. We have gone from the essential to the distracted. We've gone from added value to formalism. We've gone from the impact of this day to routine. But I can assure you that this year marks not only the end of a life of debandade, of a life of disorder, of a life of populism, of a life of mess, a life of King Peter's court, for the beginning of a new era of consciousness raising, of rehabilitation, of reappropriating our values, of rearming our mentalities, if we already had any, of rebuilding or reconstructing what we have, what we want and what we do not have. And this must be done with the full 100% participation of women in all sectors, be it in health, be it in our household, be it in society, be it in education, defense, justice, be in public procurement, be in the management of the state, be in most influential and decisive position, be it even in the management of property. Women must be involved. Imagine what these useless spendings can do to our sisters and children in need all over the country. The woman must be present, not as a jewelry, to be clean and placed in a corner of the house to shine, but as a tool to be used to bring life, to bring happiness, to bring refreshment for the benefit of the country. There will no longer be any question of women being the subject of confusion or deviance, whether sexual or in terms of dress, as we see in our media, our artists, our influencers, even in our streets and in our public and private services. Never again will we hear that prostitution is a recognized profession in our country. Never again will we see a woman in the side of the road begging for bread. Never again will we hear that the woman use her body to swindle, trick, kill, or destroy her husbands and son, or worse still, that she is forced to do so. It will be about a woman who is at the forefront, who takes the lead to make her contribution to the development, her contribution to changing mentalities, her contribution to harmonizing our cultures, so that it is not women who prevent a dynamic of truth, sincerity, transparency, love, understanding, and equity. On this day, 8th of March 2025, a day that once thought of as a day for women's rights, a day that was thought as a day to fight for the integration of women, the insertion of women, but which day, by the same women, is corn on the cabas, who get up in bars, in snack bars, where husbands are forced to sleep without their wives by their side, and children deprived of their mothers just because they need a day. We let off steams every day. But we can let off steams in a sport hall, we can let off steams in the conglomerate of sport association, we can let off steams between women on a round table, in a conference, in a seminar to evaluate the year, what we did, what we didn't do, what we should have done, what we need to correct and improve. We can let off steams by using this energy for educational purposes rather than deviance. It will no longer be a question of seeing a woman strutting down the public highway with her back, breast, stomach, and tights out, or even on social network or other such platforms. There will be no more question of our teachers strutting around with children in outfits they leave to be desired, teasing, and our grandchildren. So, dear ladies, dear mothers, dear young girls, there is a time for making mistakes. There is a time for study, stupidity. There is a time for thoughtlessness and recklessness. There is a time of awareness. There is a time for revitalization, dynamization. There is a time for reintegration. There is a time for repentance, if I may put it that way, to get back to serious business. And I'm open and I will be available to lend you a hand as much as I can, as long as you want me and you show responsibility, so that together we can give our husbands, our sons, our daughters, our children, our husbands and strangers the education, the warmth they need, the love they need, the support they need in order to get the best out of both of us. I would like to reassure myself that each of you will no longer need to be a teaser or a mistress if you really want to be in order to feel like a woman. You will no longer need to lie on a mattress or in an office in order to have a job. I would like to reassure myself that you will be respected for your true worth, but that in return, you will give back to this country who gave you life, an identity, a people, a family, a name, what it deserves. Thank you for listening to this speech. Thank you for taking on board each and every word, whether they were harsh or gentle. We all know that you don't hit a child to chase him away. When you hit a child, it is to bring him back. It is to perfect him. It is to make him a model. So, whether my words are harsh or encouraging, it is the heart of a mother speaking. It is the heart of a future head of state speaking to you. Because, as a visionary, I know that the potential is there. I know that the opportunity will arise. That will arise. Major players to be able to benefit from them, to take advantage of them. So there is no question of a fringe of the population as important as you are being left behind. Thank you for joining me in this fight. Thank you for accompanying me in this struggle. Thank you for looking us into the mirror and telling us it's time for stupidity to stop. It's time for stupidity to stop. It's time for its reckless excess to cease. It's time for us to regain our dignity of yesterday, when a woman's body was a mystery, when a woman was covered and protected because she was not only her husband's crown, but also the pride of her children. How many of our children are abused today because we are irresponsible mothers? How many are humiliated in schools because we mothers meet in nightclubs with little children who taps us from all sides? How many? So it's time to set the record straight, get back on track and say, we've been given another chance, let's seize it and move forward together. I wouldn't say happy 8th March celebrations, but I would say happy International Women's Day, happy day of meditation, happy day of awareness. Thank you for having participated, each and every one of you, in the development of our country. Thank you for having endured a great deal of scorns and even abuse, but for having always remained present when the need arose. Thank you for continuing to do so under this government that I am proposing to you. Thank you for accompanying me in this weighing and prestigious task of giving healthy development to our family, to our people, to what we know to be a country. Thank you. God bless us. God bless Cameroon.